Well, we'll try it again. I don't think the memory card was in all the way or something, but it kept going, you want to erase internal memory? I'm going, what? Kept cutting off. This camera's really wacky now, guaranteed. Really wacky. So anyway, when I used to advertise on Craigslist for helpers, I'd take their emails and run it through Facebook and see if they're lunatics or drunks or, you know, idiots. And as a way of screening, because you're not going to pay for background checks, you know. I'm telling you, it's not a good idea to open your house up to strangers. But I got lucky. This is kismet. The 2 or 3 weeks that I was back on Facebook deleting all my stuff, all my content, I got on the Puna housing offered seeking for the lava refugees, right? I was on it for all of almost a week and put my Hana on it. But then when I was deleting all the content, you know, and then I deleted my whole account. When you delete your account, all your posts go bye-bye too. But not all your content, unless you delete your content, each video and each photo album and each favorite and everything individually. You have to delete all that crap. And I spent 3 weeks deleting everything I had put on Facebook for, you know, the first whatever, almost 9-10 years. I was on it from the beginning, so, and I dumped it around the cell because of all the fake idiots that were being attracted by the lava then. I mean, I'm telling you, there was these people, the Wickles, that were trying to rip off, they were trying to do a GoFundMe to get the lava, we have to move, and they didn't even live, they lived in orchid land, they didn't live anywhere near the lava flow, you know, scammers going, man, but I got them busted. Well, not busted, but they bugged out, the same thing. Now they're in, I think, you can follow online, because they were at a reptile convention in Florida, and they ripped off somebody, because when they ripped off somebody here, and I Googled them, I found out this whole dirt trail all the way from across country to Hawaii. But then they were here doing their scams, and we uncovered them and gave it to the prosecutor's Mitch, and he, well, I don't know what he did, but we got the GoFundMe they were doing shut down, because we just gave them a Google coordinates of their address and linked them to that reptile website where they ripped off people. And so one of you viewers, who is that? Was that you, Jennifer? Going to a reptile show or something? And gave her the links to that to, you know, watch out for these people if you see them in this trade show, because, you know, they got a 8-page blog trail from years ago. It's just horrendous. I'm surprised people get away with it, and you know, it just shows you can get away with crime, because the government is not paying attention. They're not doing anything. They're not going. There's nobody investigating that stuff. The only people they're investigating is the people that have a gun and they're right now, and they're making noise, or a knife, and they're threatening somebody right now. Because, I mean, if you get burglarized, too bad. I mean, they'll come out and give you a report for your insurance company, but don't expect to ever see anything again. Poor Henry down the street, man. One of the first people on the block moves in. He was so pissed off because he's damn sure he was positive it was the people across the street. The only people on the block at the time, on that end of the block, there was no other houses in between us, I think, but one or two. Jack's place and the 2B Ecstasy House. wanted to be Ecstasy House. And anyway, he was, when I started Neighborhood Watch, he didn't want to join because he goes, I know who took my stuff. They took my gun. Hey, well, come here. They took my guns, they took my camera, they took my computers. He was pissed. Okay, come on. Don't knock the camera down. I can't take another knocking. Come here. Come on. Sit down, please. It can't take another bump. Sit down. So anyway, as I was saying before, the camera rudely interrupted me. Because I've never hit a woman in my life. I've never cheated on a girlfriend in my life. And I offer $1 million to anybody that can prove me what I'm saying is not true. Or I'll give them Mango Acres if you can prove that I ever hit a woman in my life. Those people, that one lady was, you know, a pernicious liar. And that's okay, because she got her karma. I have a picture of her. She was on the front page of the newspaper with all her foreclosure papers and her befuddled look on her face like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have bared false witness against your neighbor and karma wouldn't have come back to hit you in the ass so swiftly. And then, you know, years later, I think it was beginning of this year or the end of last year, a big yard sale, and he was there with roommates, and then she was over on Molokai for a while. I can't imagine somebody with a ability to get up in court and bold-faced make up a fictitious story with no fear of prosecution. That's a psychopath. I mean, I know. That's a psychopath. No fear of prosecution. Oh, and she said that I was going to get the Portuguese gang in Pahoa after them. And the judge is Portuguese, right? And I look at him, and he looks at me, and with a puzzled look like, is there a Portuguese gang in Pahoa? Oh, that was the first time they went in front of, it was Judge Freitas, and he threw it out. You guys are crazy. And they were, and they are, and they collapsed on themselves, you know. People come over here, they're not prepared. For 4 or 5 years, they had all their winter wools from Seattle in their garage. Like, well, are you coming or are you going? If you're coming, what did you bring all that wool shit for? You know, what'd you bring all your winter gear for? You ain't gonna go skiing up on the mountain. It's too funny. You watch them crash and burn. You know, you spend 20 years in one place, you watch them come and go, come and go, come and go. When I was in my mom's house, I was only there in San Mateo for a dozen years. But in that dozen years, we had 4 or 5 neighbors come and go next door. You know, they would come, be there for 2 or 3 years. I remember Gary, when I was a little kid, used to play with Gary, and then he went, and then I think it was the Guatemalans, and then it was an old couple, and then it was this guy that made guitars in the garage over a copper tube with a candle inside, and he got the wood wet and bent it. Oh man, that's, you know, inspiration when I'm a kid. We got a table saw, but hey, this guy's doing a whole other kind of thing with wood, and that was cool. You know, that was way cool. And I learned to pay attention to other craftsmen and artisans. There was a sculptor from Carmel that came to our high school crafts class. It was mostly clay, but this one guy did wire sculptures on a rock, like, you know, a little sandpiper bird, and it was like a silhouette. And to this day, I can still make one of those exactly how he demonstrated it that day. You know, almost, what, 40, 50 years ago? I can't count no more. But, demonstration of how to do techniques and things, you know, you keep for your whole life. I first threw my first, I was 8 years old, taught myself to throw pots. It's like riding a bicycle, you never forget it, you know. It's like dancing a jig. Oh, well, it looks like the camera's kind of sort of working, and it looks like the battery's kind of sort of going dead. So, I mean, I'll keep playing it as long as I can. It really sounds like it's a mechanical device opening and closing the lens as it goes in and out now. It's like... This camera, I'm going to auction off this camera. It's a classic. Unbelievable. I don't know how many videos I've done so far, but this camera is... Sony should send me a new camera. Maybe, nah, well, Sony Hawaii's not going to do it. But Sony International. But does anybody out there work for Sony? That Sony camera that Scott has is way cool. When I catch up with all the other expenses, the transmission, this, the rock, to that, well, then I'm going to get a new camera. Jasper, what are you doing? Are you going in circles? Are you playing hide and go seek from Zircon? What are you doing? Go on. What? Just don't go out to that stinky thing and get stinky, okay? I don't even know how you did that with the rug on there. You must have like rubbed against the tire or something. Huh? Hey. I'm afraid to go inside and get my juice because you're going to knock over the camera again. Get back in bed. Oh, I don't even have any juice. I have to get it from the refrigerator. Lay down there, girl. Lay down. Lay down. Jasper, what are you standing there like a bookend? Go lay down. Go on. You're so funny. Okay. You know, it's a good thing you're not standing in front of the camera right now because the camera's right at pecker height. And the one guy on Scott's version of his visit, you need to fuzzy out the X-rated body parts. You know how long that would take for me to fuzzy out all the different dog body, X-rated body part? Well, I have a different crowd, thank goodness. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. I love my my group, and I love the fact that it's funny. If you watch the subscriptions, it hovers around 5. It goes over 5 and then 497, up to 501, and then back down to 498, and then 503, and then back. It's up and back and forth. It's so funny. Which means I got a good steady crowd, which is cool. My congregation. My dad didn't even have 500 people in his church. Jasper, I think you're standing with the spotlights on your. Oh, I gotta link this video to that guy's comment. Oh, Jasper, you are prime, buddy. Boy, it's gonna kill me when you kick the bucket. I'm gonna be wallowing like a baby girl. Oh, fishies, careful, don't jump right out of the pond. That's what I think that big white koi fish did, was during that last electrical storm. Jumped, boom, out of it, because that thing gets so full back there, I should throw a screen over it so they can't jump out. That was a big one too, man. Bummer. Yeah, I should put a screen over that koi fish pond. Keep cats out from stealing them. I haven't seen it. My cat wouldn't take the fish, but a rat might. And I still got a big old toad I gotta kill. I gotta go out with my headlamp on and hunt toads tonight, because they like to come out in the rain. And you catch them with a flashlight at nighttime and they freeze in the headlight. And I used to go up and when the big palm was down there, oh my God, I'd go out, I killed 13 in one night. They're piggybacking. They got a baby on the back of the mama and they're having sex at the same time. It's just like, wow, slow down. And you just grab them by the back leg and you flop their head on the rock. One good time and their tongue plops out, you got them. You have to do it twice, it goes, come on. So you got to get the flick of the wrist just right, so you're whiplash. But, oh God. And if you grab, if there's like 6 of them singing, you get, maybe grab 1 or 2, you got to wait till the other ones come back on the rocks, because they all jump in the pond and you can't, you know. Slowly they crawl back out. So, you know, in the middle of the night, you'll have one out there going, huh, Jasper? Remember those? Bad, Jasper. Bad toads, huh? Smokey, if one's sitting out there near Smokey, he'll be barking till I come out and get it. Oh, Amy used to also. She'd tell me when there was one down there, so that's why I'm really confused. And I was kind of thinking that might have been the cause of her death. But, you know, dogs have heart attacks. I don't know. There was no noise. That was the craziest thing. She was not howling for stress or duress or anything like that. Yeah, well, that pimp, DL. No, I've never hit a woman, boy, but I'll smack down a pimp in a heartbeat. I can't stand pimps. Like, what's that, who am I thinking of? Nickleback. And that one song where I forget, he hit her again or something like that. And he goes back and whoop the hell out of that wife. You know, my brother, I can talk bad about my dead brother John, because he's the wife beater, because I told him when I was fixing my mom's kitchen when she was on her deathbed, cancer, and I was camping out in the living room with my boy, and we were remodeling her kitchen that she wanted, and he comes over with his wife comes over after him. He comes over and they're having a domestic violent crap in my mom's living room. She hits him 3 times with 3 right punches, right crosses. And he goes, go ahead, hit me again. Boom. Go ahead, hit me again. Boom. On the 3rd one, he goes, that's it. And he, gave her a left hook. She goes straight down on top of her ankle, breaks her ankle. When she comes to, she can't go anywhere. She's got a broken ankle. He has to call 911 to get an ambulance. The police come. This is all at my mom's house, and she's on her deathbed. Stupid. I told that boy, if you come back here again while I'm here, we're going to have no words. So be ready, because we're going to go at it. So he left that night with the police still outside the house, and I never saw him again in his life. But my life is still happening. And I did not even... it was a good riddance, and where are you buried so I can go pee on you? And is that terrible? Well, that's how I feel about wife beaters. And he was a wife beater. A piece of garbage. My older brother is crazy and violent with the spouse thing too. But he's had 4 or 5 of them. My older sister's had like 6 of them. I've had hundreds of girlfriends. Never hit a one. Never had to. Because all I ever promised was, we can be together as long as it's good. If it gets ugly, if it gets to be an argument, that's just too crazy. I can read the red lines. I can read the writing on the wall. We don't even have to get close to that. I'm gone. I'll move. I'm packing my stuff. You keep the house. Rent's paid the end of the month. See ya. Have a good life. I left one girl in Detroit. She tried everything to do to get me to hit her. She came at me, wanted to claw my eyes, wanted to go after my gonads. But, I know a little kung fu. Just balled her up, rolled her back on the bed. Plenty of cushions. Can't get hurt, Just get frustrated coming at me and getting balled up, pushed back down the bed. And finally she got so wore out, she's like really frustrated. I'd pick her up, bear hug, take her out the front door and set her on the front porch and say, you can go as nut as you want to nut up, you can nut up out there. Let the people see you nut up, act crazy all you want. So she took off, went down to a bar down the street, and while she was gone, I went and rented a U-Haul truck, started packing up my stuff, because I called her mama out of her address book, and her mama, and apologized and told me to look in that address book and notice that there was like 16 psychiatrists. That girl was multiple personality. Schizophrenic. I'm going like, oh well, hello. I knew there was something about that girl, because some girls they hit a trigger and they want to attack you, and they want you to hit them so they can go get the domestic stuff. Lots of women do that. It's called getting down first. Bob around the corner. he had some junky biker chick in his house 7 years. This nasty broad. We go, fuck you Bob, you're an asshole Bob. When I was over there in front of his guests, she would talk like this to him. Are you gonna go pick up that shit? Fucking lazy man. It's like, damn, man, why do you put up with that stuff? You ain't married to her. So what happens? She puts a TRO on him so he has to get out of his house and still pay the mortgage, the 30 days it takes to get to court. And while he's out at his house, staying at a friend's house, she's packing up his stuff. And moving it in the middle of the night to her container down south of Keaau. And, you know, cleaning them out. I mean, he can't camp out in front of his own house and watch that she doesn't do that. He'd be violating a restraining order. He can't come with any feet of her or anything like that. So she was, you know, a biker broad. She knew how to play it, the system, you know. And I told him, man, I told him years in a row. I finally stopped going over there because I couldn't take the abuse. She didn't say it to me, but if I'm sitting there and somebody else is getting abused, that energy's in the room. You know, it's like, you're like, geez, it's like, stop. And then there was the Bob and Randy. What's the thing with the Bobs? I bet my brother Bob was like that too. Bob and Randy down in Black Sands. I go over there, we're watching some program, and he starts ragging on her. And I'm going, hey, cut with the domestic stuff while I'm here. I mean, you know, your marriage, you know, you people that like to get married ain't supposed to be doing this stuff. You know, you're supposed to be in love. And whenever, you know, my girlfriend here, Jenny, we were together 5 years, and it, you know, never once hit the woman. Never once called her, you know, never dropped an F-bomb on her, you know. I don't abuse women. So to be accused of that is like, you know, one of the worst things you can be accused of. You do it to my face, I'll smash your face. It's like, you know, being accused of being a pedophile or a rapist or, you know, any of those things. If you're in the joint, they would fuck you up. And there are a lot of places in cities, if you know, drop out accusations like, you know, if you're in a bar, you know, you get a bottle over your head if you said shit like that to another guy. Yes, in my youth. Now I just whip out the camera and go, would you repeat that? And have a subpoena dropped on him at work. It's always good to get him at work, so his boss knows that he's screwing up. Yeah, I've had a little experience in the law. In fact, I have been cited as a vexatious litigant, which is not true, but it's a legal way to shackle you from redressing the court. They don't like citizen litigants. They want you to hire an attorney. They want you to pay into the system to play in the system. That's the way it is. It's a pay-for-play system, the justice system. You can have all the justice you can afford. Ask OJ, you know. Ask Leona Helmsley. She didn't go to no skanky prison. She went to a country club where she lost some weight and probably got in shape. But yeah, don't feed the trolls. Look at where they're coming from. Look at their links. Follow their links, and guess what? You see exactly what they are. So, bada bing, bada boom. All my shit's out there. I walk the walk. I walk the talk I walk. Or what is it? I walk the talk I talk. Because I'm walking it every day. And it's no bullshit. It's all horseshit. Yeah. Play it, Jimmy. So we got about 30 seconds left. So I guess I'll come back out later on tonight. This battery lasted. I got to change the battery. It looks like it's kind of working. But, you know, last legs. I'll be looking to go get a camera here pretty shortly. Yep. All right. Catch you laters.